'Twas a season of patch notes across the Rust Belt, buffs, nerfs, and hot takes by the hours were dealt. While everyone argued what numbers revealed, Cold Snap slipped in and leveled the field. This update didn't just add content, it quietly fixed how progression feels, and for the casual Arc Raiders player, that might just be the biggest gift of all. Arc Raiders has never struggled with fun mechanics. The Arc are amazing, the fights are tense, the Queen and the Matriarch are some of the most interesting encounters in this game, or let alone any game I've played personally. The problem is never that the content is bad, the problem has been that most casual players barely get to touch some of the coolest content in the game. If you're a casual player trying to interact with encounters such as the Queen and the Matriarch, you're not just fighting the Arc. You're fighting heavy PvP traffic, you're fighting ratty behavior, you're fighting players who live in those zones and treat them like a toll road. So some of the coolest content in the game ends up being gatekept or is functionally inaccessible to the people it should be exciting for. And some of that same access problem has been carrying over into blueprints. Blueprints gate what you can experiment with, what you can craft, what playstyles you can even try. So when blueprints are too rare, you're not just limiting progression, you're limiting access to the game's most interesting systems. Which is why blueprints have been one of the biggest friction points amongst casual players, and you guys have been very vocal about that. And this is where I think the conversation around blueprints gets a little confused. Blueprints aren't power creep. Just because you have a blueprint doesn't mean you can suddenly craft whatever you want. You still need materials, you still need money, and you still have to survive the raid. Having a blueprint doesn't just magically turn you into a meta menace. What blueprints actually are is a permission. Permission to engage with the game systems, permission to experiment, and permission to do weird, silly, creative stuff with the tools the developers have already put in the game for us to try. And if something becomes too common, too strong, too meta, it's solvable. Just adjust the crafting cost, adjust the materials, make it more expensive, or something like that, but just give us the access. Locking blueprints too tightly just locks players out of experimentation and joy. It stops people from trying things and it stops people from learning systems organically. Let us craft stuff, let us mess around, let us do dumb, funny, creative things with the toys you already gave us. Give us the blueprints. And this is where Cold Snap changes the conversation, because right now the blueprint spawn rate feels dramatically higher. Whether it's intentional or a bug honestly doesn't matter for this discussion. What matters is how the game feels to play. For the first time, a casual 2-hour session can realistically mean progress, not theoretical progress, not maybe next time progress, not just quest progress, actual tangible progress. If you're looting good areas and running smart routes, finding a blueprint every few raids doesn't feel broken, it feels rewarding. It feels like the game is respecting your time. You log in, you play a handful of raids, and you walk away having unlocked something new. That's the loop. And it's a loop that feels good. Is it slightly overtuned? Maybe. But it doesn't feel harmful. It doesn't trivialize risk, it doesn't invalidate skill, it just means players are finally being allowed to engage with the systems that already exist, and that's a huge shift. Alright, quick holly jolly intermission. At the start of this month, I said it would be cool if we could hit maybe 2,000 subs. We were at 1,400. You absolute maniacs have taken us past 2,250, and we still have half the month to go. So at this point, screw it. Let's see if we can hit 3,000. If you guys have been enjoying the Arc Raiders breakdowns and casual friendly takes, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and hype the video. It genuinely is the best way to help in the algorithm. You guys have been insanely supportive lately, and you already got the last few videos to go completely nuts, so thank you, seriously. Alright, now back to the show. Thanks. So I'm going to run some footage. This is all from today's stream, right when they launched the new Flickering Flame event and the Cold Snap update. Seemingly the blueprint spawns are just absolutely insane. Some people have been claiming they are up to 500% of what they have previously been. And again, while it might be slightly overtuned, this is insanely fun. This is the most fun I've had on the game in a while, both because of the new update, but also because of the fact that I'm actually consistently finding new things that I don't have access to yet. And if this is stuff that I'm still just finding for the first time as a player who plays this game basically for a living, then it means that most likely a lot of you haven't gotten your hands on most of this stuff either. So enjoy this little montage of some of the stuff I found. I tried to keep a little bit of, the information of where I'm finding stuff in there as well for you as little tidbits if you guys are curious. But let's get back to, the more edited content. Now, just to put some real context on this, I have over 300 hours in Arc Raiders post-launch. I play a lot. And even with that amount of time, I still don't even have everything unlocked. Under the old blueprint system, getting full access within a single wipe was not just difficult, it was unrealistic. That expectation only worked if you were playing constantly, not casually, not after work, not for a couple hours a night. It required an extreme grind that even I haven't been able to pull off as a content creator. So when we're talking about blueprint scarcity, we're not talking about just simply the projects and the wipes. We're talking about setting expectations that most casual players simply can't meet. And this is where the math really starts to matter. Arc Raiders plans to run on a roughly 60-day wipe cycle. That creates an implicit time budget. Under the old blueprint rates, the amount of time required to unlock everything was massive, hundreds upon hundreds of hours. That kind of pacing only makes sense if the game expects near full-time play. Cold Snap changes that equation entirely. Now progression actually fits inside the wipe window. You can play consistently but casually and still make meaningful progress, and that alignment really matters. Because when progression matches real-life schedules, people stick around. And when people stick around, the game stays healthy and the game stays. And this is usually where someone says, well, if blueprints are too common, it's going to ruin the game. And I just don't buy that. Blueprints don't trivialize skill, they don't remove risk, and they don't suddenly make players better. You still have to survive, you still have to know routes, you still have to manage fights. What blueprints actually do is expand viable playstyles. They let players try different builds, different approaches, different tools, and rarity still exists. It exists through location knowledge, through survival, through decision making. More blueprints does not flatten the game, it opens it up for everyone. This version of Arc Raiders feels healthier. Casual players feel rewarded instead of punished, they feel like their time matters. Sweaty players still have optimization to chase, they still have mastery to pursue, they still have advantages earned through experience, and most importantly, more people stick around between wipes. This is how games grow, this is how communities stabilize, and this is how you keep a player base alive instead of burning them all out. Now I'm curious to hear what your opinions are on this update. Are you a casual player? Are you a sweat who doesn't touch grass? How do you feel about these changes to blueprints? How do you think they're going to affect the next cycle post-wipe? Do you think this is good for game health? Do you think this is bad for game health? Do you think this is intentional, or do you think this is a bug? Make sure you let me know down in the comments below. The interaction also helps the video. Thanks. Is this slightly overtuned? Maybe. But this version of Arc Raiders feels better to play. It feels more welcoming, it feels more respectful of players' time, and honestly that matters more than perfect scarcity or balance. Cold Snap didn't just add content, it fixed how progression feels. And I hope this is the direction Embark keeps moving with the game.